to the Unleashing. I'm your host, Jared Beeler. A little muggy out today. Figured I'd just shoot in the vehicle. But I wanted to talk about the Trump, Kim Jong-un, Singapore meeting that happened earlier this week. I just want to give my thoughts on it and what I think is going on. Well, considering what time that I believe we're in and how close we are to tribulation starting and the rapture taking place and us being in the end times, I think that we can consider this more and more when they're saying peace and safety, that we're getting ready for sudden destruction and end time events to take place. That's exactly what it looks like to me. Every time they say peace and safety at the timeline that we're in, it's just one more proof. Boom, we are right in the end times and this thing's about to happen, all right? When they're saying, don't worry about this because it's all being taken care of, it's just the prime setup for exactly what we see happen and take place in the Bible. Boom, sudden destruction takes place. Of course, we know that Russia, China, and everybody else is still prepping for war, making islands, building up nukes, moving troops around, getting nuclear floating barges into place to build up northern forces and things like that, while they're yelling peace and security and, oh, things are looking better than ever. All right? They're not looking better than ever. This is just a front, okay? People that are hoping for that, yeah, you can buy into it, but at the same time, it's like, let's take a look at reality here. It's not the way it's looking at all. We're prepped for World War III, and somebody doing the wrong thing is going to kick the whole thing off, okay? I see that Trump goes into Singapore, meets with Kim Jong-un, and they're putting on the front like, yeah, things are looking better. And of course, we would want them to be better, but we also have to be realists here, because at the same time, we all know what happens in the Bible. We're seeing the things taking place. We've never had such earthquake and volcanic activity take place around the world. It's just going nuts all over the place, all right? I think this is a sign of possibly that planet coming into play. I think that's going to play part in the tribulation with the mountain falling into place. I don't think it's a volcano. I think when John sees a mountain come out of the sky that's on fire, I don't think that's a volcano at all. I believe that's an asteroid or a comet. Right after that, we see wormwood take place, which we know is the same thing. And after that, it says that the sun, the moon, and the stars, you only see a third of them. And I think this could be from an asteroid impact that maybe changes the rotation of the Earth. And it's actually talking about not seeing less of them as light, but as more of a timeline that we're seeing. We're only having 2/3 of the day instead of the full, because the Earth's rotation is sped up or something because of the impact. It's a possibility to consider. But this stuff is just pointing to one thing after another, and it really looks like that it could take place here sooner rather than later. And we all thought that last September it was going to line up, and I've never seen a lineup like that. And even though I can never guarantee 100%, I believe that I felt that it was going to be about 99% chance that it was going to take place. There was just too many things taking place at once, and it didn't happen. So I can't give a guarantee. When anybody's giving a guarantee, I'd be cautious of it. But at the same time, nothing's changing. We're still seeing this at a steady pace taking place, one step after another, leading right up to the rapture and the tribulation about to take place. So for that reason, I have hope every single day that we're about to get out of this mess, and it's looking better for it. And no matter what happens, I'm not buying into the whole peace and security and that things are going to get better and everything's on the mend, because it doesn't look like that at all. It looks like it's about to get worse. So, I just wanted to point that out. For those of you who are looking for the return of Christ, you can see the same thing that I'm talking about. We know that it's about to happen. It's getting closer. Every single thing that he said would happen is taking place. We've reached some benchmarks here that are very important, from Revelation 12 sign to Israel's 70-year generation. Some won't see it. I was arguing with a guy in the comment section before, earlier this or last week or whatever, and he, no matter how many times I told him, hey, we're at Israel's 70th year, it's like, Israel's not a nation yet. It's like, what are you talking about? They've been a nation for 70 years. Some stuff just goes right over people's heads, okay? They're willingly blind, and they want to be blind, okay? Because they don't want it to take place. While others are screaming, where's the promise of his return? For since the Father fell asleep, things have gone on the same way. And the truth is, in their hearts, they don't want it to take place, okay? They're looking for every excuse. So why are they watching videos like this in the first place? Because they're scared, and they want to get a follower, just like somebody, or followers, just like somebody who's sending, they don't want to do it alone. They want to have people with them at the same time. And it's just, they like company, all right? So they watch this stuff and then they try to leave comments like, oh no, it's not going to take place. There's still many years for it to take place. No, that's just what you're hoping because you're loving life and you're bought into this world and you love the world more than Christ, all right? So you're not looking to get out of here. But for those of us that are looking to get out of here, man, it's the sweetest sound to hear the rapture, right? You will never have to worry about money issues or problems or anything like that. And the feeling, the joy feeling that you have when I was shown in that vision that I had when I was going up, there is a distinction in the joy, and it felt just like winning, all right, but like a million times over. It was the ultimate win for anybody who's ever been in sports or anything like that, or maybe survived a combat situation, and the camaraderie that you have afterwards, and the joy that you have won, you know, where you've worked as hard as you possibly could, and you have the reward of that. That's exactly what it felt like, but it was like it was times a million. It was the most incredible joy of winning feeling that I've ever experienced in my life, and it was so incredible. And everybody that's going to be raptured is going to feel that same thing. You're going to feel that overcoming. You made it through it. You passed a test with flying colors. You know, you have won, and you're going up to be with heaven. You'll never have to worry about anything again. And then, of course, the thought of money, poo, off my shoulders, and job, poo, off my shoulders. No worry about that ever again. I was like instantly reminded, you will never have to worry about that nonsense. We're about to go into the family of the master of the universe, the King of Kings, and it's going to be better from then on, and there will never be a problem before. And it was such an amazing hope that I got to experience when I saw this back in 2014. But I still see things taking place. We absolutely could see the rapture take place this year, and I believe the way that it's pointing and going faster and faster, that it is an extreme possibility that we might see it. I still hold on to an idea that it might be around Feast of Trumpets, but I'm open for other ideas, like when Pentecost was coming around, you know. Well, I look at the events lining up and stuff like that, and I see it. However, I still think that the tribulation starting, the peace deal that starts for 7 years, is a full-time event, because I would line up 3.5 years later around Passover for the Antichrist to go in when they're celebrating their Passover, and then him declare himself to be king. All right, almost the same way that Jesus rode in on the donkey at Passover, because Satan's the ultimate copycat, right? And he's trying to be like God. So for this reason, I definitely think it's a fall event. The difference between rapture and the signing of the peace treaty could be the same day, weeks apart, but I definitely believe it's close. I believe that once we're out of here, when good has left the building, when the Holy Spirit's left, the restrainers that's been holding things back is taken away, boom, stuff's going to take off like wildfire as fast as possible. And evil know that it only has a certain amount of time to try and deceive as many people as possible. For this reason, I think it'll take place extremely fast. Could we see the rapture happen sometime this summer? Absolutely, and then the tribulation start sometime in the fall or whatever, or it could be a lot sooner. You know, I'm open for a few different things, but I definitely see things lining up, and it's getting so close now. I don't see it pushing back a bunch of more years. Could it? Yeah, sure, that could always happen, but man, it just, the distance between these birth pains and things that are happening, where it looks like we're about to get into a war and stuff like that, which would be the second seal, a World War III situation, all right, that starts the whole thing off, not finishes, it starts it off. It just keeps looking sooner and sooner. Every single time that we look at it and we see it taking place, this is what I see, is that it is just getting closer and closer to this happening, you know, and nothing's gone away, so we keep holding on and staying steady and staying the course, but there can't be much time left in this whole thing, you know. I can't put any guarantees on anything like that, but we can only look at this one step at a time, and each time something happens, it's an unfolding of that being exactly what it is, you know, that we're getting closer day by day, just a little bit closer. And it's on a steady pace that this is going to take off exactly what he said. Every single thing that he said would take place, from earthquakes, volcanoes, all over in diverse places, animals die off. I mean, we can watch video after video where there's mysterious die off of animals. The waves in the oceans roaring, the weather is just out of control. I mean, every single thing that's taking place, wars and rumors of wars constantly, okay? While evil is just spreading and the world's becoming more of an evil place day by day, and we see more of it falling apart because they need Jesus, you know, and there's a lack of it all over the world. There is just so much that is taking place while we see Israel become a nation for 70 years, all right? And lining up this year, the Revelation 12 sign very well could be a sign of maybe a 1-year warning. I mean, we just don't know, but we know that we're in the end times, all right? And I know it can be discouraging because you want it to happen. Trust me, I want it to happen so bad, it's unbelievable. I've tasted a little bit of it, and that's all I think about. I think about it every single day from that vision, and I've always been looking up since I was a kid. I mean, there isn't a day that goes by that I'm not thinking about it, right? I want it more than anything. So, don't feel alone in this situation, because you're not, all right? There's many of us out there that have been looking for this all our lives, and we want to be with Jesus so bad, it's unbelievable. Okay, this is our blessed hope. We're going to get out of here. And it only gets more awesome after that, all right? We can't even describe how incredible it's going to be, but it's going to be the adventure, fun, and most amazing thing you could ever experience, and it's going to last forever, all right? So we constantly try to witness to people, talk to people, pray for those that we love, and we're always leaving seeds to show, hey, you know, this could happen, pay attention to this. Wherever I go, every single time I'm always working on somebody. I start with one thing. It's never a random conversation when I bring something up. When somebody runs into me, it's never random. I am already planting seeds and leaving things along the way that if I don't get completely through to them, that I've left enough that they can follow a trail and be like, whoa, this is what Jared was leading to the whole time. Oh my gosh, the whole thing's real, you know? Which is what I encourage everybody to do in their own way, all right? Everybody has skills you've been put into this world, and in the area that you're in for your own abilities, you can reach people that I can't reach. I can reach people that you can't reach, but we're all on the same team, all right? And you're not to follow me. You're to look up to Christ, God himself through Jesus Christ, all right? I'm only helping others to come up to a level, and then you can go out there, all right? Because I don't believe that you are to look up to somebody as more holy. I believe that you can be as close as possible to God himself through Jesus Christ. You have that personal relationship, right? And you're going to enjoy this and the conversation, the camaraderie, and everything else. When you're in heaven, you get to talk to him and know that you've been with him the whole time, and that you can, all right? I understand that people got to start at some point, and if you've never asked Jesus in your heart, you know, you want to have some good direction in how to live your life, all right, and things like that. But then there comes a point where you have to step out and be the woman or the man yourself, all right? Just like I was raised in a prosperity gospel household, okay, and my mom was into Kenneth Copeland and all that stuff, but I became an adult, and I had to read the Bible for myself, which of course I read every day, and have read the whole thing multiple times, you know. And when I get to that stage, I come to my own conclusions, not to be a follower, but to go after God myself with a personal relationship and the things that he's showing me, you know. And for that, now I was able to come back and pull my mom out of that situation that she was in, where she was in the prosperity gospel movement, you know, which I believe is completely wrong. Everything that the God teaches in this in the Bible, I believe it's a selfless journey, and it's all about honor, okay? The more selfless life that you live, the more honorable it is, and I believe that's exactly what it was showing, you know? It's not for lucre's sake or money or to be blessed in every single way possible. You know, sometimes we go through a struggle, all right? And if you're not, I would sometimes question it, because that is the life of being a Christian, right? It is harder, all right? We're called to do more and ask for and not have as much, all right? And in the process, you know, we live a selfless life. But you know, everybody has to make that choice. You don't follow your entire life. You have to step out and have that journey, and walk with God yourself, you know, and that's why I always try to encourage everybody to do that themselves, because that's how you really grow in that relationship, right? I don't learn the things that I have and know the things I do from in church. You're not going to learn about any of the stuff, all right, that the people have questions about in church now with Nephilims and aliens and what's going on with that. You're not going to learn that in church. You have to walk with God where he teaches you, and you can ask him anything, all right? And if you're doing it in a selfless way where you're asking him to help others and things like that, I believe he will answer. There's so many times where I've asked him stuff, and it's in a selfless way, because it only leads to me talking to people and sharing more the gospel, you know, and answering questions that people need to know about how everything, and I'm telling you, every single thing lines up with the Bible, that he answers it, and he answers it quickly, and so many different times he's answered it like almost on the spot, or only like a few days later, or just a little bit after that, you know. And everybody can have that, all right? And understand that it's good to go to people and have the fellowship, and we need that, you know, to encourage one another. And especially in these dark times and stuff like that, it's good to hear about it and to know that other brothers and sisters are looking up, all right? And I'm totally looking up, because that's what I care about. But at the same time, you know, you also have your own journey with God. But all this stuff, man, every single week I see it taking place, and it's getting closer and closer, all right? I said when Scotland was trying to break up from the United Kingdoms, all right, a few years back, I said, I don't know if we're going to look at this at the end times that I believe that we're in. I don't think they're going to let them split off, all right, because they want more of a unity. Why is that? Because putting it in the Bible, during the tribulation, 10 kings rule the world, okay, with the Antichrist. So they've split the world into a 10 region area, okay, where a ruler is over one of those areas, okay. So knowing this and what the Bible says, what do I expect to see? I expect to see more of a grouping together, okay. So I'm like, well, let's put it into play. We'll see what happens with Scotland breaking off. Did they win by the votes? Yes, they did. They voted to separate. Did the government manipulate it and put the piles and the counting into know that they didn't separate? Yeah, that's exactly what we see happen. I believe Alex Jones, on one of their cameras, they were able to zoom in and see the pile where it said yes, split off, in the no pile to stay in, you know. And so they're like, oh, better luck next time, you know. Now with North, and I figured that's exactly what happened. And with North and South Korea, I've said before, and you could probably find in other videos, they're going to take Kim Jong-un out and put somebody else in that can work it, or China's going to talk to him and suck him into it. One way or another, they're not going to be separate. They're going to be grouping it together. Why? Because this is what we see during the tribulation. And as close as we all feel that we're getting and seeing the signs, we would expect nothing less. There isn't a separation taking place. There's a grouping together. Putting the Korean Peninsula as one that might be associated with China or something like that, that is going to be ruled by one of the 10 kings, is what we expect to see. And that's exactly the direction that they're going right now. Slowly but surely, and it's picking up speed. It is taking place in exactly that order, okay? So for that reason, I expected something like that to happen, or we were going to go in there and take them out and put somebody else in charge and unite the peninsula, okay? One way or another. But when they're saying peace and safety, this is all part of a plan. This is part of the tribulation that takes place that the Antichrist is going to be ruling from, with Satan with him, all right? That's going to be putting the world under a 10-nation rule, or a 10-kingdom rule, okay? And this is exactly what we see taking place, and that's exactly what I feel that happened with this North Korea deal, okay? And I believe we're going to only see more in that. With the UK, or with Europe splitting up into different regions, is it part of a plan so that they can bring it into another way, or another plan together another way? You know, if we're going to be looking at the Bible with this this grouping together, that's exactly what I think is going to happen. I don't think anything's out of plan, and if it is out of plan right now, it's God holding stuff back by breaking up their plans. Just like in 2013 when they wanted to have the RFID chip become mandatory for Obamacare, but all their computers crash, okay? The restrainers at work, all right? The restraining is taking place is buying us more time, all right? But the schedule is still set. These guys are chomping at the bit to try and get the world in control for Satan and everything else, all right? And it's still being slowed down, but when we're out of here, it's going to take off like wildfire. So, you know, they might want to be taking off right now, but if God says no, and he's slowing it down, then God slows it down for his time, but he has it perfectly planned when it's going to take place, okay? So maybe that's what we see going on with Europe right now, right? With them trying to Brexit and everything else that's going on with that. But the point is it will end up uniting all over the world, and that's what we're going to see, and that's what I saw happen with the deal with Trump and North Korea, okay? And that's exactly what it looks like to me. But we're going to keep seeing more of this, I'm sure. But I'm definitely paying attention this year. This year is very possibility. And Trump seems to be laying the groundwork for what the Antichrist wants to do with Israel and peace deal and starting a 7-year deal, all right? It looks like it's good coming on. So I don't trust any of them, okay? If this was the 80s or early 90s, maybe, hey, and the signs hadn't taken place, Israel wasn't at 70 years, Revelation 12 sign hadn't happened, and many other things, you know, I'd be like, oh, cool, peace is what we want. When I see it at this time taking place, I say, I don't trust any of it, all right? Because when they see peace and safety, get ready for sudden destruction. It's going to come. It's happening. It's going to happen faster, okay? And we keep watching it take place, right? This is just a few words I want to get out and what I feel is taking place on this, all right? I'm sure a lot of other of you can see exactly what I'm talking about because you all know the same thing, all right? You've all read the Bible and you read it continuously as well. We're seeing this all unfold, all right? But this is my 2 cents on the whole thing, and I'm going to keep paying attention, all right? I'm currently now in Montana, and hopefully I'm about to get into a place here real soon, and get out of this camping situation that I've been in for the past 3 or so months. But anyways, things are looking good for me right now, and I got a new job, and it's working out all right. So I'm going to keep making videos, and I'm still paying attention to everything going on, and keep watching for the signs and keep looking up because Jesus is going to come back here real soon, and we don't know exactly when it's going to be, but we feel that it's going to take place sooner and sooner, all right? But God bless, and we'll catch you next time in the Unleashing. Bye.